This is the new Hummer EV, and it's electric. Why? Who the hell knows? It's gigantic and it can run over a Tesla without even trying. You can take the top off and pretend you're Smokey and the Bandit. It's faster than a 90s Ferrari and can tow more than other trucks with Hemis. The inside has a moon landing design for some reason, but cool. It also comes with a really big gold chain, just kidding, and it can crab walk like Snoop Dogg. Today, I'm gonna take you on a tour of it, then I'll drive it, and then we'll rank it using the EV Scorecard. And lastly, we'll try to answer the question, why does this actually exist? 30 years ago, the Hummer was launched as a consumer version of the military Humvee, known to be able to go over any terrain and handle basically anything you threw at it. In 1999, at the height of the Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake relationship and peak bling culture, GM bought the Hummer brand from AM General and began working on an updated version of the Hummer aimed at becoming the symbol of anti-environmentalism. I don't know if they actually meant it to become that, but it kind of did. The H2 was flashy. Rappers, celebrities, and guys not cool enough to actually talk to girls drove them as a way to get attention and kind of elevate their status. It was a status symbol. And the more chrome and the more ridiculous wheels you put on it, the better. Remember, peak bling culture. And honestly, it worked. You'd see one driving down the road back then, and you had to stop and look and just wonder, what did that person do for a living? Were they a rapper? Were they an athlete? What was it? And how could I be like them to make myself not feel so miserable? And this faded quickly after the dot-com bubble and into the aughts where we had the financial crisis of 2008. So along with rising gas prices and dwindling demand, GM tried to actually sell this brand to a Chinese company, but that ultimately failed, and in 2010 they sunsetted the brand entirely and Hummer was dead as you knew it. Now fast forward to today, and somehow GM thought it would be a funny idea to bring this back as an EV, maybe the opposite, the anti-environmentalist version of the Hummer. Now this is the front of the vehicle. You've got these tow hitches here, you've got cameras, you've got this daytime running light bar here. It's a full light bar, but this is not actually your headlights. Your headlights are right here. And then this little guy on the left and on the right are your charging indicators while you're charging. Really cool use of this space. Now one thing that's really cool they did here is they made use of the frunk, which is the thing you can do with electric cars. You push the button down below or the key fob or from inside. It electronically opens, which is convenient, especially if you're not 5'11" 3/4" like I am. And inside you have a good use of space. Now notice the front, similar to the Ford Lightning, is missing, meaning you don't have a place to put stuff in there and you don't have to reach over. You can kind of slide things in and out. And this is a really good space. You've got a few tie downs, nothing else that's really spectacular about it, but just excited that they actually use this instead of doing what a lot of traditional OEMs do, and they kind of fill it up with stuff that you don't need in an EV. And while I was out in Arizona driving the Hummer EV, my lawn back home in San Diego was growing like crazy, thanks to today's sponsor, Sunday Lawn Care. A couple of weeks ago, I started using Sunday Lawn Care to save my dying yard, and I'm happy to report that things are going well. We're seeing new growth here. Now, before, my yard felt like a balding man hanging on to those last few strands of hair, and now it's like a teenager that hasn't got a haircut in months. The way Sunday Lawn Care works is they send you these nutrient bags specifically designed for your yard that you spray on with this hose attachment that they also include. With the first box you'll receive, they include what you need to send them back a soil sample, so that way the next shipment is perfectly tuned for your yard. And I have to say that I'm really impressed with these results so far and look forward to my next shipment with even better results. Sunday is a new approach to lawn care, one that works with your busy schedule. So if you're a proud dad like I am, you can check them out at the link in the description down below and start making the other dads in the neighborhood jealous. And you can use my code BENS20 and receive 20% off your lawn care plan this year at the link in the description below. Also, send me a photo of your yard once you've had a chance to get started. I'd love to see how it's working for you. Now back to the video. Now here on the side of the vehicle, you can see that there are lots of options. This one is the fully spec'd out version. All these roof racks, you've got tires in the back, you've got a tent on top. Now this one also has these nice little running boards to step up into it. It is adjustable height. This is kind of your standard ride height right here, but also notice how the door cuts out. It makes it really easy to kind of just reach in and grab this handle and then pop right in. So easy in and out access. I mean, GM's been making trucks for a long time, so they know how to make this. I think it looks cool. I think it looks maybe overly masculine, but you know, it's a Hummer. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Okay, in the back of the truck, we got our big hooks here for the towing. We've got our tow hitch, which will go in there. And then again, this is kind of optioned out fully. It's kind of nuts, but this tailgate is really cool. It's one that I think a lot of other trucks could learn from. So you've got a couple buttons here. I can also do this from the key fob. The big button brings this guy down here, right? So now this is good. Now, if I want to get closer in, there's a second button there, the littler button, which brings this guy down. So now I can access things even closer in here if I need to. And then if I want to get up in there, I push down on this all the way, and this guy pops down, and now I have an actual step. If I need to, there's even a handle that I can bring up here, which locks into place and allows me to just simply grab the handle and pull myself up. If need be, it can come out and everything like that. Now this one's kind of ridiculous. It has these speakers built into this little panel here, which is unnecessary. But as you can see, they've really thought of accessibility and usefulness here, as you would expect from a company that's been making trucks forever. One other cool thing here, the bed is 5 feet, but then it's 6'11" when it goes down. And if you bring just this part up, this little guy can stay locked in like that, and you can kind of hold items from sliding off without needing any extra accessories. Now, I don't know if the other accessory bits are used to here exist yet, but they probably will. It's GM and it's Hummer, so someone will make them out there. But just giving you a sense that there is a lot going on here in this tailgate and this bed that make it pretty awesome. And then on the rear driver's side, you have your charge port cover, which you pop that little guy out, and you have your standard CCS charger. And that brings us to the inside. Again, great handle. Man, I love how you sit up. The handle's the correct way. You've got a lot of buttons and knobs. All the things are here. You've got a center console here that won't quit. There's all kinds of different things. Your drive mode selector, your gear shifter, some phone chargers, and some USB ports. This big yacht bottom thing under here, which you're not seeing. And then you've got, this guy right here, which comes up and has even more just copious amounts of storage, including a little safe. How cool is that? And they have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Hallelujah. I can't believe more automakers don't do that. It is such a win. You've got this big screen here. You've got a binnacle dash here. I mean, this interior is very Hummer-like, but modern and fancy. It is so much more elevated than the old Hummers. I don't know if you've ever ridden in one, but they were awful on the interior. They were not comfortable. Everything about them was generally bad. This one, I like the analog controls. I've got a few different buttons here for, stability control and parking cameras and all that. But overall, I mean, it feels like a Hummer. This isn't like some modernly weird tech thing. This is like, I'm in the modern version of a Hummer. And one thing that's crazy is you can remove the roof. You can actually take this off. I don't know why, but cool. Pull this guy, and there we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I just took the roof off of a Hummer. This is wild. I have to get a picture standing outside of it. So check it out. Now I can drive like this. And that brings us to the back seat, where again, lots and lots of room. Lots of headroom. I can remove this guy if I need to. I've got little USB ports and analog controls. I can actually control my own climate settings back here. Put my little phone in the cubby while it's charging. Super useful, super functional. There's a little center console. And these seats look like they're ventilated, but I do not believe they are. So, it's nice, it's comfortable, infinitely better than any of the previous versions of the Hummer, if you've ever been in one of those. So, really good. I mean, I'm impressed with what they've been able to do here. It doesn't feel like what you think of with like a GM truck or something like that. Now let's take it for a drive and see how it does. And I was able to drive this in a couple different ways. We did the just straight up acceleration test, a thing they call watts to freedom. And it is stupid how quick that is. But I will say it is not as quick as my experience was in the Rivian. Oh, shit. Okay. It's not a sports car, but it feels like it wants to be one. It is really fast, but because it's 2,000 pounds heavier than the Rivian, it does not win in a drag race, flat out. It is not competitive. However, it is faster than any other of these performance trucks like a Ram TRX or a Ford Raptor. As I mentioned as well, it can crab walk, which is where both the wheels get turned in the same direction. It's like a 4-wheel steering thing, but they both turn in the same direction, letting you kind of do this little power slide move. Think like snowboard sliding back and forth or something along those lines. And really the whole point of that is that because you have four-wheel steer, you can actually turn this thing around in a really tight radius, which is good because it's gigantic and you kind of need that ability. Okay, so now we're in crab mode. Crab mode, crab walk mode. Okay, so now right there.
Yep, so now this will give you that 1-to-1 where it kind of maxes out.
And then
same thing the other way.
That's so trippy. That seems so wrong. And then then if I go over,
then
now I'm turning with crab, and then okay, straight, and then back here, and now I have to turn. That is so crazy. And when it comes to off-roading, this thing is no slouch, although I doubt people buying it are really going to be doing much with it. So this little course we had here set up in the parking lot was kind of a good representation, I think, of what most people will do with this. Some light kind of articulation, but nothing really too insane. There are 3 motors, and that allows you to do a lot more than even we're able to demonstrate right here. And then handling, I mean, this thing handles really well for what it is, but it still feels like a really big, heavy vehicle, because it is. And now to rank the Hummer EV using our EV scorecard. At 0 to 60 in around 3.5 seconds, the performance of this, especially for this vehicle, earn it a 4 out of 5. The interior is really big, as you could imagine, so for seating capacity, we're giving it a 4 out of 5. With the power tonneau cover, which is an option, and the really big frunk for storage, we're gonna give this a 5 out of 5. For comfort and luxury, this vehicle is so much more elevated than any other GMC product I've ever driven, giving it a 4 out of 5. With a cost well over $100,000, this guy earns a 1 out of 5 because it is way out of the reach for most people. We don't have safety or reliability ratings yet, so we're gonna skip those. And when it comes to range, they're estimating 350 miles for this. We don't have EPA ratings yet. I would hope so, considering the ginormous battery pack that this thing comes with. And so for that, we're gonna give it a 4 out of 5 for range. And on the flip side of range, we have charging. And just because this battery is so gigantic, and regardless of how fast it can possibly charge, it's going to take a long time, we're gonna give it a 2 out of 5. With the caveat that hopefully 100% of the people that own this have a place to charge it, and they'll just do so overnight. Still, because it's so big, it's gonna take so long, you may not even be able to fill it all the way back up overnight charging. And then when it comes to charging network, it has the CCS port, so any of the networks out there that do that, Electrify America being the one that we always talk about, and for that, they're gonna get the typical score of 3 out of 5. So the question I'm still wondering is, why did they make this versus pouring all of that effort into the real breadwinner for GM, which is the Silverado and the Sierra? I think the answer is that if they're able to make a big splash here, and we're talking LeBron James sponsorships, Super Bowl commercials, they are dumping, tens of millions of dollars into the marketing of this, then hopefully people will think of them as a leader in the EV space. What I'm really wondering though is, are they going to be able to capture what they captured with the original Hummer? Remember, the original selling feature of the Hummer wasn't anything to do with the vehicle. It was a terrible vehicle by basically every measure. The reason you bought it was because of its flashiness. Driving down the road, you want people to stare at you, to give you the thumbs up. And of course, the challenge is that there are other electric trucks coming out. Some of them are also very eye-catching. So if you want to see more of the other electric trucks coming out, check out this video over here. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and remember, do it for the mission. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you back here next time.